thumbnail. Getting pumped up on toughness.
I'm Jessica. Hi, I'm Emmalynn. And today we're going to be sharing our December TBR.
Or Hi, I'm Jessica.
I'm Emmalynn.
Today we're going to be sharing our December TBR.
We're not much of TBR people, but we're gonna try. So this is very loose. Don't hold it against us, but
yeah, these are just some options.
Do you want me to go first?
Sure.
Okay, the first book I'm currently in the middle of, but since it's December 2nd and I had been planning to read it this month, I thought I'd include it anyways. This is Snow and Rose by Emily Winfield Martin, and the back of it says, Snow and Rose didn't know they were living in a fairy tale. People never do. And this follows Snow and Rose as they move out of their cottage into the woods with their mother after their father has gone missing. And everyone talks about how scary the woods are and how they're enchanted. There's all these monsters. And I don't think you need to know anything else. It's like barely 200 pages, but it's filled with, just super pretty illustrations all throughout. And it almost feels like you're reading a graphic novel because you just read it so fast and there are many pictures. So I'm really flying through this one.
Okay, the first book on my TBR is the book I'm currently reading as well. This is called Five and Dime Christmas. This has 4 historic novellas, all in this one book. And they're all set in America in the early 1800s, almost 1900s. But they all take place in the Five and Dime store. So they each follow like different characters that work in the store. I think one follows the owner's daughter, but they're all just really cute, wholesome, although a bit cheesy Christmas stories.
Can't go wrong. Okay, my next book, I don't even feel like I need to give a synopsis for, but Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Goblet of Fire is my favorite movie, and I have never sat and read the full series, which is a disgrace. But because of the Yule Ball, I was like, I want to read Goblet of Fire this Christmas. But it's been a long time since I read the first 3 books, so I just decided to start over. And I have the first 4 illustrated, so I might even read them this way because I've never done that.
You should. Okay, the next book on my list is Meet Me in London by Georgia Tofolo, I think is how you say her name. But this book is set during Christmas time as well. It's about a girl who had plans of starting her own boutique, and what went wrong was her business partner is her now ex-boyfriend. So she's kind of like, what am I gonna do? My business partner was my ex-boyfriend. He cheated on me. Do I keep going along with my plans to open this boutique or not? In the meantime, there's also like a high-scale department store opening on the same road, so that gives me kind of like You've Got Mail vibes. And then at the same time, there's a guy that's also single named Oliver, who's kind of like an executive in like a big company's branding, and his mom is really wanting him to have a girlfriend when he comes home for Christmas. So this is like a fake dating trope. Ends up being also a fake engagement, I think. So I'm really interested to see how this plays out. It's a lot going on. But yeah, I think it'll be cute, and I think it'll be extra cute because it's set in London.
And very entertaining.
Yeah.
The next book on my list, I'm realizing I don't have very many Christmas ones, but this is The American Heiress by Daisy Goodwin. I don't know what it's been, but I've been on a historical fiction kick. And this book takes place in the year 1893, and this follows Cora Cash, and she's basically the closest thing America has to a princess. Her family's one of the richest ones in America, and her mom decides to send her away to get her the one thing they don't have, a title. So she sends her to England, and
Where you can definitely get a
yeah,
title.
where you can get a title, because that's definitely most important. And I mean, I'm guessing a romance blossoms, but the synopsis pretty much ends there. And I love the cover.
It's very good.
I'm really excited to read it.
I'm glad you're reading it. Okay, the next book on my list is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I'm sure no one needs a synopsis of what this is. It's been made into multiple movies, animated films, etc. But we're reading this aloud as part of our morning time for our homeschool day, and we're gonna finish it, right?
Yes.
We have a bad habit of starting read alouds and not finishing them, but we're gonna finish this one, and it's only like 125 pages, so it's super short.
Okay, my next book is a classic. I'll still give the synopsis. This is one of our books we didn't finish. That's our read aloud. So, Little Women by Louise May Alcott. This follows the March sisters. Jo's an aspiring writer. Beth is the kind of shy one that plays the piano. Meg is kind of the nurturer, older sister. She's very beautiful. Everyone loves her. Amy is the youngest, spoiled, who just dreams of being a painter, and
she's a little self-centered.
Yeah, but this just follows their life as they grow up in New England during the Civil War, and is obviously inspired by Louise May Alcott's real life experiences.
And you're kind of like recently obsessed since the movie came out.
The 2019 adaptation still has me in a chokehold, so.
I'm still devout to the old one, but...
I mean, that one's a classic, but it's like the Pride and Prejudice 2005. It's just pretty to watch, pretty to listen to.
It's appealing to the eye, for sure. Okay, next I have Comfort and Joy by Kristen Hanna. I've only read one other Kristen Hanna book before, which was The Four Winds, which... like just almost ruined me because it was so incredibly depressing but so well written. So I am really excited to pick up something else by her. The reason I wanted to read this is because it's set in the Pacific Northwest. So this is about a girl named Joy who is like a middle-aged woman who's been recently divorced, and she's kind of like questioning her life and if it has any meaning left in it. So she just decides to like pack up and go on a road trip to the Pacific Northwest and kind of like rediscover herself. And then she meets a little boy whose mother has recently died. The little boy has now a single dad, so I think some romance ensues between them, and hopefully we get some good Pacific Northwest vibes because it is set in the Olympic rainforest.
Okay, the next book on my TBR, my mom actually read last month, and so if you want a more in-depth synopsis, you can check out our November wrap-up.
Or our blog post.
Or our blog post.
Shameless plug.
two different things. Or our Instagram, or our Goodreads, whatever. But this is obviously Flora's Traveling Christmas Shop by Rebecca Raisin. And this is about Flora, who loves Christmas, and one day she's fired from her job at Deck the Hall's Christmas Emporium, which is very interesting.
She was unjustly fired, too.
I believe it. I mean, Flora could do no wrong. She's too happy.
Yeah, she just loves Christmas. Is that a crime?
But when she is just like at a loss, she decides to make a Christmas shop in her van. And she travels and sells things, I guess. And she meets Connor, who is, of course, hates Christmas.
And he's so
Is
grumpy.
that shocking?
He's grumpy.
He's tall, probably. He's probably muscular.
He's like, she describes him as Thor.
This makes me not want to read it.
Like, grumpy lumberjack Thor.
That's like every romance book ever. But okay. Alright. I still want to read this book. And
it is really cool.
I will probably read more Christmas books other than this one this month, but we'll just see how joyful I'm feeling. Because I like me some fantasy. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next, I have Sleigh Rides and Silver Bells at the Christmas Fair, which is an extremely long title, but it is by Heidi Swain. The reason I wanted this book is because Desi talked about it in one of her Christmas videos.
Sounds familiar.
I can't remember which one, but it's kind of hard to get. Like, I guess she's a UK author. Anyways, so this is about a girl that gets a job as a companion to an elderly man that owns Winthorpe Hall, and he, of course, doesn't like Christmas. I feel like he doesn't appreciate like where he gets to live and all of those kinds of things. So she kind of like throws herself into like becoming friends with the household staff and everything. And then all of a sudden, the owner's son comes to visit, and he's like, make me fall in love with Christmas again. So that's what she does. Hopefully.
That's better than him hating Christmas.
Yeah. And not just make me fall in love with Christmas again, I think, but maybe like in love with his childhood home too. Because I'm guessing probably doesn't have a good relationship with his grumpy old dad. So she probably just comes into their lives and fixes all their problems and makes them just a hunky-dory happy family again. All in. Sounds pretty thick.
I mean, it
Christmas
sounds great
book.
to me.
It's like over 450 pages, so it better deliver. If I'm gonna stick with this, it better deliver.
I trust Desi. Okay, my next book is Sky in the Deep by Adrienne Young. I am an Adrienne Young stan through and through. I've read all of her books except this duology, and so I decided finish out the year. I'm gonna try to read this. I have not read her newest book though. I will say that. But this is about 17-year-old, I don't know how you say her name, Elin?
Yeah.
Elin? We'll call her Elin. And she was born a warrior, born on the battlefield pretty much. She's just a fighter, a force to be reckoned with. And one day she sees the impossible. Her brother, who's been dead for years, is fighting with her enemy. And so for some reason she has to live in enemy territory, and eventually they are like attacked by another enemy. And she has to trust her brother's best friend, who I'm guessing she falls in love with, because that's very typical. And we'll see what happens. I don't really like knowing much when it comes to fantasy, because I feel like sometimes they almost give too much away and then there's no surprises. So,
but I read that.
But yeah,
it's the only Adrienne Young book I've read, and I gave it 5 stars.
and the only one I haven't read. So I'm very excited. Everything Viking is interesting to me. Pretty much any just European culture is very interesting to me.
It has a lot of Norse elements for sure.
I think it's going to be good. I don't know what about this gives me winter vibes, but
it does take place in the winter.
I just decided Christmas, let's read about Vikings.
Okay, why not? Okay, the next book I have is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. Also, I'm sure this doesn't need any explanation or any synopsis recap, but in case you don't know what this is about, it's about 4 siblings who have to go stay with their like distant relative during the war, and the youngest sibling, Lucy, goes into a wardrobe while they're playing hide and seek and discovers that there is a world on the other side of the wardrobe, and that world is Narnia. And so she kind of like gets her siblings eventually to go with her, and just a lot of adventure takes place. This is like one of my favorite stories of all time. Aslan is everything to me. I cannot watch this movie without crying every time. Well, if you know, you know that one scene. But I've been wanting to reread this all year long, and I thought I would save it for Christmas. So here we are, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. C.S. Lewis, can't go wrong.
Okay, the next book I'm planning to read, I have downloaded, so I don't have it physically, but I'll put a picture of the cover on the screen, and that is Castle in the Clouds by Kirsten Gier, I want to say, because it's German. I don't know what makes me think it needs to be pronounced that way, but
Or Geyer?
Gear. I don't know. I don't know where I even heard of this book. For some reason, I think it was Desi, but I'm not really sure. But this book follows Sophie, and she's an intern at this grand hotel in the Swiss mountains. And it's supposedly steeped in tradition and faded splendor. And she's working hard to prepare for the annual New Year's ball, and any book with a ball is automatically top of my list. And unfortunately, nothing is going her way. Problems keep arising, and no one's who they say they are. And I'm like, is this a murder? Is it a romance? I don't really know what's going to happen, but I'm very excited. And there's a cat on the cover, so I feel like it's going to be good. So yeah, that was the last book on my TBR.
Okay. And my last book is The Christmas Clash by Suzanne Park. And the line at the top says, "'Tis the season to be enemies." I just thought that was, right up my alley. So I read a faux love story back in the summer, and this just kind of reminded me of it. So it's about these two teenagers here. Both of their families have restaurants in the mall food court. One is Korean and one is Chinese, so they're like rivaling restaurants. And the teenagers don't actually work at their parents' restaurants. They work at the mall, but like in different stores or something. But they learn that the mall is about to close, and so it's like they have to team up to save the mall and keep it open, keep their family restaurants afloat, all that good stuff. And this involves Asian food, so like,
can't go wrong.
yeah, like, who doesn't want to read about Asian food
Or
at
just
Christmas?
food.
Like, obviously. Yeah. So that's the last book on my TBR/options.
I'll be interested to see at the end of the month how many of these
Yeah.
we actually read.
And what
So,
we trade out for other things.
We'll see. I have high hopes for myself because I really sat down and thought about this. But yeah.
I thought about this and I thought, hey, I want all my books to have a blue spine. So that's what I did.
Except one.
It has blue on it. Just not a blue spine. Anyways. Okay. That's the end of our December TBR. We hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll leave links to all of the books we talked about. And if we have reviews for any of them already up, we'll leave that link down below as well.